Welcome once again. Senator Ademola Nurudeen Jackson Adeleke has been sworn in as the Governor of Osun State in a ceremony attended by top dignitaries and hundreds of residents. Adeleke became the Governor of Osun State after he was administered the oath of allegiance and office by the state's Chief Judge, Justice Oyebola Adepele-Ojo. Justice Ojo also administered the oaths on the new governor, the new deputy governor also, Prince Kola Adegboyega Adewusi.
The swearing-in ceremony held at the Osogbo City Stadium. It was attended by top dignitaries, including the presidential candidate of the PDP and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, his running mate, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta, governors of Akwa Ibom, Sokoto, Bayelsa State, and the minority leader of the House of Representatives, Ndidi Elumelu. Meanwhile, after he was sworn in as governor, Ademola Adeleke reversed the name of the state from State of Osun to Osun State, and also reversed its appellation from the State of Virtues to the State of the Living Spring. Now, it was mentioned that the Osun State was actually State of the Living Spring before. It was State of the Living Spring by Governor Rauf Aregbesola. And, it's just interesting to see now he's trying to return things back to the way that it was. And, they said it was changed from the State of Living Spring to Land of Virtue by Rauf Aregbesola. Look on your face, it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, what's going on?
They say here that the state is famous to have set the pace for a lot of record-breaking events, of course, but that the State of the Living Spring was changed to Land of Virtue by former Governor Rauf Aregbesola, the Minister of Interior, and in Yoruba, it simply means Ipinle Omoluabi, which is a state that upholds the high moral standard. So maybe, just maybe, he's looking at it and saying he's not upholding high moral standard again. Let's go back to what it was before. We don't know what his reasons are. But there are several other actions that have been taken. We know that the outgoing governor, the governor that had just, his predecessor rather, had made some appointments. Exactly, Governor Oyebola had made some appointments just before leaving office. And people were asking, when you know you're about to leave office, is there really any point in making appointments knowing that your successor will not uphold this appointment? Not only that, the successor clearly, through his media aid, put out a publication to let them know that if you accept this, just know that he's leaving. You are leaving with him.
Well, so Governor Oyebola has his reasons. It's pretty much the same thing with Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, appointing 100,000, 200,000 aides, which are obviously going to be paid with the state's money. So there is that also. They have reasons why they do these things. I can't really sell. Sometimes, a lot of times, they're political reasons. It has nothing to do with the welfare of the state or the improvement of the state, in any way. With regards State of the Living Spring and State of Virtue, former Governor Rauf Aregbesola, obviously an APC governor, and so these are some of the things that would happen immediately a new government comes into power from a different political party. It is to exert itself and its authority on the state and to let people know that whatever it is that happened in the past is in the past.
It's not business as usual.
Exactly. It's also important to know the part where Governor Oyebola, he's still governor, no longer governor, made mention that he left 14 billion naira, in the state coffers, and of course paid 97 billion naira in debt. It's just interesting to know, and I think these are some of the things that would come into question later. Remember, former Governor Peter Obi was made fun of, as someone who saved money. Some people made fun of him and said, you shouldn't be saving money, you should instead be using the money to do projects for the state. But we'd like to see how successful Governor Adeleke is, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of years.
I think another good news on the brighter side would be that this is the first public appearance we've seen of David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, since his son Ifeanyi passed. So let's move away from that. We hope that that lifts his spirit, and we look forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah, congratulations to the new governor. All right, moving away from Nigeria, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni, despite acknowledging the successes recorded in the fight against Ebola outbreak in the country, has extended the quarantine placed on 2 districts that are the epicenter of the country's Ebola outbreak by 21 more days. According to the president, movement in and out of Mubende and Kasanda districts in central Uganda will be restricted until December 17th. This comes after it was originally imposed for 21 days on the 15th of October and then extended for the same period on the 5th of November.
The presidency in a statement said that the new extension were to further sustain the gains in control of Ebola that Uganda has made and to protect the rest of the country from continued exposure. The East African nation has so far recorded 141 infections. 55 people have died since the outbreak of the deadly hemorrhagic fever was declared on the 20th of September. Now, although the outbreak was gradually being brought under control, the situation is still fragile and the country's weak health system and circulation of misinformation about the disease still remains a challenge.
Ebola virus circulating in Uganda is the Sudan strain, and for which there is no proven vaccine, unlike the more common Zaire strain, which spread during the recent outbreaks in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. I'm hoping that that doesn't define Christmas in Uganda.
Yes, I mean, it's very sad to see how this happens. We know how it is. The world has experienced the lockdown. The world understands what the quarantine is like. It just feels like you're secluded from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Last week we were talking about the World Cup and talking about how China feels isolated from the happenings around the world, because whilst there is funfair and excitement and the world is happy watching the World Cup, it's happening in Qatar, there are no flights from China to Qatar. The president, Xi Jinping, is a lover of football, but the Chinese people are asking, is there a different alternate reality in Qatar? Because we're seeing these people playing without masks, having a good time, whereas we have been put on lockdown. China has a zero COVID policy, so what we're seeing is not unnecessary, or what businesses that are referred to as non-essentials have been on shutdown. So there is a huge it's a dampened mood, and we hope that this is brought under control, and like you said, that this doesn't define Christmas for them. But more importantly, we look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that the Zaire strain is being brought under control, that it doesn't extend to other people. We don't see more casualties, and it doesn't extend beyond the borders of Uganda.
Absolutely.